those who are following via the social media and the community radio stations across the country. We want to welcome you to this edition of the MICAT regular press briefing. It's held on a bi-weekly basis every Tuesdays and Thursdays. We are here making sure that information pertaining to the government of Liberia can be disseminated in a timely, accurate manner to the public. And so we have been doing that, and we are glad to be back here today. It's Independent Day week, and it's a very busy week. We have been moving back and forth. There have been dedication programs outside of Montserrat County, and we see that it played a very critical part of the entire coverage, the independent coverage, which is good for us. Thanks for so without accomplish the task of information. We have two distinguished gentlemen. One is on the office here, the Director-General of the CSDA, the Honorable Josiah Joekai. He will be speaking on the establishment and the rollout of the National Civil Service Testing Center. Of course, Honorable Joekai has helped to modernize and restructure the civil service, and we can now boast of value for money while the government spends on civil servants on a monthly basis. Honorable Joekai and the CSA has made sure that round pegs have been placed in round holes and square pegs and square holes. So for all the reforms, and to complement that, they have launched the testing centers for civil servants. It's open. The place is going to be throwing light on the modernization effort, the recruitment processes. He's also going to be talking about public sector workforce data, including payroll audits, retirement, transition, and other reforms initiated around the civil service. We also have another distinguished gentleman, Dr. Samuel Poe, is the Deputy Minister of Planning, Research and Development at the Developmental. Honorable Poe is expected to provide updates on recent initiatives that were launched. Nigerian National Teacher Wellbeing Survey, the first of the kind to be held across the country. The survey is a key step towards enhancing teacher standards, strengthening professional capacities, and promoting overall teacher welfare. So that's the list of guests I will have for you today. We want you to please give us your undivided attention as we proceed along with this press conference. Of course, you know, as a matter of tradition, before we listen to our guests, the minister or his destiny will always make some introductory comments to clear the air on certain issues pertaining to government communication and just the overall effort that the government is making to improve the condition of the country. So on that note, we will now turn on existing protocols to invite to the podium the Honorable Minister of Information, Honorable Jeremy Matipia. He will speak, and then he will be followed by the Director-General of the Civil Service. He will speak, and then we will close with Dr. Samuel Poe. He will make his presentation, and then we'll make it more interactive by entertaining questions from members of the focus. Honorable Minister. Good afternoon to all of you members of the press. Once again, welcome to the Charles Way and Press Hall. I'd like to, in a special way, welcome DG Josiah, Joekai, and Dr. Toll from the Ministry of Education, who are here to speak to issues that they were outlined by the Deputy Minister. We're in the period of the independence, the 178th. We believe the country is headed in the right direction under the leadership of our President, President Joekai. We're making interventions where they are necessary. Civil servants are being paid. Employees here at the ministry have been paid more than a week now. 5 days of the end of the month because we work on a monthly basis and we are paid per month. But we'll be able to do that in advance because we wanted our citizens to be okay with the celebration of our independence. Most times people will say, oh, we're seeing all the good things happening, but we want to handle the bread and butter issue. Nobody has said that arrest the 25 kg is now $14. Don't they know? I'm sure all of you know. It was inherited at the point of $17. If it went one step beyond to 18, 19, it was all the headlines. It's down to $14. It's like a secret. That's supposed to be spoken about. These are all actions meant to improve the living standard of everybody. If I was spending $17 to buy 25 kg and I'm now spending $14, the savings there can do something else. It can add to the soup. It can buy something. So that too is progress. I always say I live on the Broadway side. More than 17 communities in that place have been in darkness for 35 unbroken years. Those places are all seeing light as though somebody is leading the process of creation. Where they just say, let there be light, and there is light. But no, it takes a lot of time to do what is happening. And when I see the president at his age, and all the movement, the MICAT, the press, you were with us, all the places we went. I'm sure some of you were struggling in the bus. You were tired, your backs were hurting, young people. But an over 80-year-old president was with us. Hard job. The other night, we were getting back to town from Tottenham, very late, on a bar road. You know, and when I look at that, I ask myself, but the president work is really high, especially if you want to do it. How come other people were doing it, they had a chance of going to studio to make music and all that? It's a very hard job. We're glad that President Joekai is standing up and doing what he's been elected by the people to do. So every day something is happening. Every day. We're in Lofa. You know, for those who have nationalistic and patriotic spirit, they will not fold their hands and just criticize. Thomas Father is a lawmaker. He's not criticizing, he's not praying for the country to fail. He's not saying the government should fail. He's not waiting for the government. He's making an intervention. He built, for the first time in our country history, a rest station. Those who lived in America, in Europe, and other places, they know what rest stations are. You get on the highways, you're traveling, going long distances. You are jammed, a call to nature. You stop the car, you stand on the car and you pick it there. When what's happening to you goes beyond just urinating, you go do something bad, not far from the road. What rest stations do provide some comfort and resting environment for travelers all over the Americas on their superhighways. Start, you see restaurant, you see food court, you see gas station, you see security arrangement. Honorable Father is trying to replicate that here. So by the time you cross the St. Paul and step into Salaye in Lofa County, the rest station is there. He made a little bit different by constructing a police station. So that travelers who will be stopping there will not just have the comfort of the environment, but they will feel safe. Those who will be transacting their businesses there to wait for the arrival of travelers, they have police presence. That is done by an individual. Without sitting back and saying, let the government fail because I want to be this. He's playing his part. He's playing his role, aiding the development process. On behalf of the government, even though the president did so, we want to add our voice in thanking him for that intervention in his home country. While we're in that very region, we dedicated the model school in Bonn. The second one was dedicated in Nimba by the Vice President. The third one is being completed. The finishing touches are ongoing. It's right there in Kakata Magibi County. Honor the Arrives program that they call what? Improve. Somebody from Youth Education.
Improving education in senior secondary.
Correct. Improving education in senior secondary school. So we have it. Now, I was told by the minister that our Arrives program, the implementation period has ended. But then there's a new program that was signed yesterday, the SL. And he says to me, under the SL program, the rest of the counties without those model schools will get some. But what that first portion of the Arrive program did, they not just build those 3 schools. They built 28 other schools. Am I correct? 28 other schools. Elevating some were just elementary school. Built then the new structures and elevated them from elementary to junior high, providing the opportunity for our kids to learn. So not just the 3 schools that we're talking about, different altogether, the structure alone is good for learning. 28 additional schools were worked on. I have the list. In Bonn County, the Kokoya Central High School was worked on. The new senior high school in Joekai district also was worked on. The Boketa Public School, that's in Babolu. Kongo Public School is also in Babolu. Fasama Public School is in Babolu. In Grand Bassa, the Owens Grove Public School, the St. John River Public School, the Gio Town Public School. In Grand Cru, the Banken Public School, the Finito Public School, and the Mifu Public School. In my Gibi, the Gibi Public School, the new senior high school was also built. In Maryland, the Bonikem Public School, the Barricam Public School. In Nimba, the new senior high school, I guess is the one that we dedicated. The Duo Goto Public School, William V.S. Public School. In River G, the Chiboken Public School, the Tom Wild Memorial School, Ketoken Public School. In River 6, the Josiah Town Public School, the Zami Town Public School. In Sanlo County, Numopo Public School, which is a central high school, annex was built. The Dro High School annex was built. The Gibsonville High School, a new annex was built, and the G-Tro Public School. These are the 27 schools that were impacted by the ARAS program. Certainly there will have to be time, I hope, the next season, as the dry season will approach, the county tour of the president will be prioritized, and the press will be taken along, and you can see for your own eyes these schools. So the SL program was launched. It is a major 5-year education program to improve the quality of learning in schools across Liberia, especially for young children. Kindergarten from 1 to 6 also, and is led by the Ministry of Education, but funded by 2 partners. 60 million loan from the World Bank and 29.6 million grant from the Global Partnership for Education. And by the way, the difference between the both, if you get a loan, you pay back. If you get a grant, a free body. So about 30 million was given to us free for that project. Together, both will provide 89.6 million to support education reform. Why is the project important? Liberia needs over 250 million to fully carry out its educational sector plan, the ESP. The project will help to close about 24% of the gap in the sector. This very project. USAID is ending its support in 2025, which would have created a big hole in our educational budget. The SL program will help also fill that gap. Every county and political district, 73 of them in total, will benefit. Each district is expected to receive at least $500,000 in support. What will the project do? The project will build and rehabilitate schools across Liberia. It will train teachers to teach better. It will provide textbooks and learning materials. It will support school principals to become better leaders. It will offer remedial help to students who are behind. It will promote safe schools and prevent school-related gender-based violence. It will give schools small grants to support improvement. Who will benefit? 350,000 students in public schools from kindergarten to grade 6, and 6,500 teachers will benefit. 4,600 principals and vice principals will also benefit. And 14,000 school committee members will benefit. The affected communities, families, and educational workers in the 15 counties will benefit. How will it help Liberia? It will improve reading and mathematics skills. It will keep more children in school, especially girls. It will reduce the cost of school for whole families. It will strengthen trust in the public education system. It will boost economic recovery by preparing a more skilled workforce. There will be higher returns on investment compared to most public projects. What our lawmakers need to do. The legislature will have to ratify the 60 million, which is supposed to be a loan. And if they do, Liberia receives 29.6 million grant for free, plus the ratified amount, giving the country in that sector 89.6 million to be available for the improvement of our educational sector. The schools, children, and communities all over Liberia are the key beneficiaries. We'll take a big step towards meeting the 2027 education goals. The final thought on this exercise or on this project is that it is not just a loan. It is a powerful investment in Liberia's future. It supports the arrest agenda and delivers real impact in every country, and ensures that Liberian children learn better, stay in school, and succeed in life. That's the SL program that was just signed yesterday by the Finance Minister at the Executive Mansion. And the SL program, according to what I've been briefed by the Deputy Minister, will show that we have of those model schools that are reflecting the three countries in all of the outstanding countries. For the country's educational sector, in a historic move towards sustainable development, the government of Liberia has launched a groundbreaking 10.67 million renewable energy project aimed at electrifying rural parts of Lofa County. First, the Liberia Renewable Energy Access Project includes the construction of a 4.0 megawatt peak solar photovoltaic plant and a 9.4 megawatt battery energy storage system. It is one of the largest renewable energy systems that will be built. It is an initiative in Liberia's history, recovery history, and is being delivered by the International Consolidated Contractors Offshore with funding from the World Bank. The project is a transformative milestone for Liberia's rural energy agenda. It reflects the government's strong commitment to renewable energy, community development, sustainable electrification. It is set to be completed within 12 months. The plant will be built in Bakuma town and serve over 50,000 persons across the towns, including Bonjo, Foya, Bulamu, and Masabulama, plus 20 nearby communities. The system will include 126.4 kilometers of medium voltage and 211.4 kilometers of low voltage distribution lines, 112 transformers, powering 10,317 hospital connections. The hardware setup featuring a 1.8 megawatt diesel plant and a 250,000 liter fuel storage unit. It replaces a previously planned 2.3 megawatt hydro plant that was cancelled due to difficult terrain and cost overrun. The new hardware model is not only more resilient, but also environmentally friendly with a projected energy output of 3.7 GWH annually. This initiative supports Liberia's ambitious mission, 300 goals to achieve universal electricity access by 2030, making a major step forward in bridging the energy gap in rural Liberia to a sustainable and better level. The African Development Bank is funding the Cote d'Ivoire to Liberia Sierra Leone Guinea CSSD interconnection project, which has helped to expand clean and reliable electricity across Liberia, as electricity is the engine for economic development. It has been stressed that this is important because it promotes industrialization, enhance healthcare delivery, education, and job creation. The bank is also funding Liberia's transport sector, especially the Ganta-Hako Highway project, which connects southeastern countries to the rest of the country. The AADB has also approved a $40 million for continual road development and is mobilizing for co-financing of both connectivity. These roads are not just highways, they are pathways to economic development. The 20 megawatt solar power energy plant in Harrisburg, Monserrado County is completed. With this, the situation of power outage in the dry season is expected to be addressed. Many of you remember when the project was launched for that solar plant, and there's an update that indicates it has been completed. The construction work, which is a 20 megawatt facility, is being concluded and will be finalized before December, which time will be the dry season. It's a part of a broader effort to address power shortages and expand renewable energy sources. The new facility is being built on the same site as the existing 88 megawatt Mount Coffee hydro station in Harrisburg. During the dry season, water levels drop, leading to electricity shortages. It is assumed and expected that this new solar energy plant will solve the gap that exists in our sector. Liberia's electricity extension is continuing. Right now, there's a time where you come from the mass of Belgium. If you go into Riverside County, there's a very big town that is popular. It is known as Yapatown. That entire place is already electrified based on the energy extension project that is taking place. And for the first time, that place has seen electricity since 1822. And as I said from the beginning, the whole Virginia Bell was 17 towns in Monserrado. I've also seen electricity again for the first time since 35 years ago. All of these are happening, and some are saying enough is enough. Enough of what? The developer? Or what? Allowing the market. The government of Liberia and the African Development Bank, as you may already be aware, have launched Africa's first youth entrepreneurship investment bank. The 17.8 million initiative will fund 150 plus youth-led businesses, create jobs, and unlock a 500 million potential in lending. It is targeting youths between the ages of 18 to 35. The initiative addresses a critical youth unemployment challenge in the country. where 60% of the population is not 25. Unlike the traditional banks, the new bank combines three innovative components: an early-stage investment fund for direct equity investment, a technical assistance fund for business development services, and a credit guarantee fund for risk sharing mechanism. It is jointly financed by the African Development Bank Fund that will contribute $15.9 million, and the Korea-Africa Economic Cooperation that will contribute $0.7 million. And the government of Liberia will provide $1.2 million of in-kind support. Every sector is making progress. So in August, the government of Liberia is preparing. The government is July, the government is preparing to unveil a major public transportation boost with the deployment of 60 newly acquired vehicles, including 35 large buses, 20 minibuses, and 5 cargo trucks. Currently, the buses are being rented and loaded on ships for delivery to Liberia. Once on the ground, vehicles will be strategically deployed to improve transportation across Monrovia and its surrounding community, and is being run under the auspices of the National Transit Authority. The large buses for their part are expected to serve major streets and highways. The mini buses, which will be 18-seater, will operate in densely populated communities, for example, Eva, Carwell, etc. The cargo trucks will transport goods from market women from Monrovia to the counties and vice versa, enhancing commerce and food distribution. All the buses will be equipped with modern monitoring and communication system to ensure efficient route tracking. The deployment of the buses is expected to begin ahead of Flag Day, August 25th, sealing what the stakeholders hope will be a turning point in Liberia's struggling public transportation sector. The Ministry of Agriculture is expected to receive 288 modern agricultural machineries that will transform Liberia's agriculture into mechanized farming. The machinery shipment is part of a comprehensive China-Liberia bilateral cooperation deal reaffirmed at the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation FOCAP Summit, which was held in Beijing on September 6, 2024. The agreement was personally endorsed by President Joekai and President Ping, signaling a high-level commitment to Liberia's agricultural transformation. A glimpse of the machinery is set to revolutionize farming: direct green planters, rest seeding transplanter, mini command harvester, paddy rest bridge maker, tie pot trucks, rotovators, front-end loaders, 65 HP tractors, bomb sprayers, tractor wagons, and low-bed trailers. The machinery will be strategically deployed across 5 major agricultural zones, targeting staple crops like rice to increase national food production and reduce Liberia's heavy reliance on import. More than just the machine, the Chinese government is also sending technical teams to support installation, provide operational training, for farmers and technicians, and ensure maintenance and repairs, backed by a 1-year warranty on all the equipment. This shipment is distinct for a parallel delivery of 287 yellow machines, the ones being talked about all the time, that are destined for road construction, infrastructure development under the Ministry of Public Works, underscoring China's expanding role in Liberia's multi-sector development. As you may be aware, because we covered that, the bombing hospital did not exist anymore. The hospital was in ruin, everything destroyed. The First Lady took upon herself to mobilize resources. And at an overwhelming and monumental ceremony by Katumu Waka, the First Lady, officially dedicated a newly renovated bombing county health center, reaffirming her commitment to health care, quality health care, and the well-being of women and children across the nation. That hospital was initially built in 1961 by the Liberia Mining Company. It's gone through difficult times and has not been properly renovated since then. But prior to January 2024, the hospital did not have modern equipment, the facility were in ruins, and the buildings were dilapidated. The ceremony for the commission of the hospital was brief. As the president, the occasion brought together distinguished officials of government, dignitaries, the Second Lady, the Ambassador of China, some concessionaires, health care workers, and community dwellers. The renovated facility is now equipped with a modern triage, a newly cement-paved access road, a revitalized maternity and prenatal ward, upgraded medical supplies and delivery beds. This is a testament to the government's commitment to advancing health care infrastructure, especially in underserved counties. And so we're glad that the First Lady was able to do something that will not be known as her own property, but it's for the country and will benefit our people. When the government President got into power, the headquarters of the fire service had only 2 fire trucks, 2 jeeps, 1 pickup, 2 small vehicles. Since the coming into being of the current administration, we have had 3 different donations of fire trucks. Flotoma in Lima County Day, representing the same brand in Anta Day, and now a major donation from Nigerians based in the United States of America. As a result of these, from 2 fire trucks when the President came to power, the fire service now can account for 14 brand new fire trucks from 2 to 14 in 1 or 2 years. They now have an employee bus. They have an ambulance. They have water tankers, 3. They have 4 operational pickups, 2 administrative vehicles, etc. Just in 2 years on the highway, 2 fire trucks, 14 fire trucks. If this doesn't tell us the government is making progress in all sectors, I'm not sure what more to say to us. So the country is not a move. Destruction is easier. This country was somewhere when we were young. But this country was somewhere until we fought a war that took us backward. The years have come, they've gone. Leaders will continue to come even after President Waka leaves. But they've been clearly demonstrated. The President is focused. He's assembled the right team. They are headed where we're supposed to head.
And then I always say when I talk about the ministry from the very beginning that at the end, because we have come to the stewardship at the end. So by the time 6 years are over, Liberians will know that we had a problem and actually killed. Even in our own small local year, all the disruption are taking place because we're doing the key renovation of the ministry. Something we've been talking about. We're now in full swing, you see it. We need a refurbished conference room. These hallways are being prepared, all the doors will be changed. Bathrooms have been made from use. I know some of you go to come to the press conference. The struggle to do abuse yourself in the different bathrooms. Building a new car park. Security booths have been installed. Don't forget we did the first step before, which was the entire brand new roof over the building. So we all look forward to the completion of the current ongoing project. We have secured 2 buses for our employees. They've been brought in from Europe. They've been shipped here so that those whose salaries are low and struggling will have buses bringing them to and from work instead of paying money from their own pocket. We can just do our own small part of the overall development transformative project. We wanted to also reflect in the what we are doing. Those who are plans. Let them see. The usual tradition, members of the press here expect that while we have our ministry from employee to share with you, you have to share that then the rest will give you a home. And then all things will give you a share. So that together as a family, we all celebrate our independence and enjoy the happiness. But I took all the time because we are making mistakes. But Josiah ain't not going to talk. The former minister general says this one. Bill Jacob, good to see you. I only feel coming and learn for you. These are the guys who ran the BI in this country. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, Minister, I don't even know where to start from. Because like I told, he's crossed all the entities in terms of what's being done. But I want to say congratulations to you, Minister Pia. And always when I appear here, I see something new. I always talk about it. This is unprecedented transformation that's happening here at the Ministry of Information. From the entrance all the way to this room, you see changes everywhere. The corridors, the crumbling walls are all gone. I mean, everything old in this building, I don't see them again. And I was just, joking with both of them in the minister's office after told them here. I was saying, this kind of efficiency demonstrated at this place has this own consequences. Don't be surprised if some ministers will stay here forever. Deputy Minister Josiah, I'd like to recognize you and give the family distinguished colleagues of the media. Today, I have come on behalf of the Civil Service Agency to make a major announcement, and it is consistent with the President's vision of transforming, modernizing our country and making sure that we can have a new Nigeria in ways that works for everybody. I want to say happy pre-birthday to you, Mr. Pierre. I want to say Sunday is your birthday. I'm waiting maybe after the press conference we can talk about what's happening on Sunday. All right, but congratulations, both of you. Yes. Happy Independence to all my wonderful civil servants across the government. Happy 178th Independence Anniversary. What a glorious, a good time to be a Liberian, where everything that's happening positively in our country. I'd like to congratulate you. It's been 17 months now since I started working with you, civil servants, and it's been a great learning curve for me. and we are really relating very well. I'd like to congratulate all of you. Mr. Minister, I don't know if you can permit me, I just need 5 or 6 minutes of your time. I'm going to be talking about the National Civil Service Testing Center. But we have a short video, an interaction between me and the two females, yes, who passed the test, the first 2 females who sat and passed the test. I had a short interaction with them in my office, and I just want you to hear for yourself. This is part of the confidence building process.
Officially started the civil service examination since we transformed it, that is to move away from paper-based to computer-based. And historically, you guys happen to be, part of the 5 first people who sat the test. 3 females and 2 males. Interestingly, unfortunately, the other 3 people didn't make it. One of the females and then 2 of the males did not make it. But you guys passed the examinations. This is historic. I want to say congratulations. Congratulations to you. And I just want you to tell me a little bit about your experience. Tell us why you registered for the test, what was your motivation, and how was the process, the registration process, leading to you sitting the test and passing it. You got to tell us how you felt then, and then you need to tell us how you feel now. So I don't know who wants to go first. Oh, you did? Oh, it's just cool.
I got, they gave me the total mark, I got 36. All of the 49 questions now, and so I got 36 for it. Yeah.
Out of the 49. And you?
Yes, I got 28. Yes, out of the question.
Yes, okay, wonderful. Great. But you have the results in your emails.
Yes.
You went straight to along with the certificate. Congratulations. Why you guys did not print the certificates, man? So we could see we display, yeah, that's very good. When we get the certificates, come back to me. Yeah, so that we can take official pictures with the certificates, okay? Yeah, I don't think. But then, Ruth, how did you register, online or in person?
I registered online. Online? Yes. And when I registered, I was scared a little, but when I tried to encourage myself in the end, and I went to, when I came at first, they said that we should go to the central bank to make payments and all that. I said, after all of this, anyway, when I went, the process was smooth. I came back the same day to do the test, and everything was okay. Yes.
So, Koto, what was your feeling when you sat in front of the computer?
First of all, I already had this feeling and this notion that nobody can take seriously test and pass. Yes, it was what people were saying, because when I had the office in town, around the carriage peak in there, I went there before, at this something around 2016, 2017, because I'm a 2015 graduate for UME, I got you for UME. So I went there to do the test, and then they said they were going to call us. And while working on people, but you sure you're making me do the test? No matter how fast that test. You got somebody in the system, I'm like, so I just felt discouraged. I didn't make any effort to do the trial test. When I heard of it,
did the trial test? Oh,
they did the trial test a day before I got here. When I came and said, oh, we did the trial test yesterday, so it's over, but get back the 20th, we'll be doing the test. I said, okay. And then I came Friday to do my registration. He said, she could have
you register in person?
Yes.
Okay, she registered online. You register in person?
Yes.
And did you guys know each other before?
No. We met here on Friday.
Yeah, on Friday.
On Friday, yeah.
And she registered online?
Yeah. We met here on Friday, and then we met at the bank again this morning.
When you went to the man, the $5, so you put that in, yeah, and then you came to issue your receipt.
Yes. When she called that process in general, he asked me, he said, you can say you're not feeling with your feet in my head. So he said, you think you can do the test now? First I said, I was able to wait Friday. Yeah, I asked, I said, oh, what indeed of doing it Friday? Yes. When I just don't know what the question would be like, yeah, I'm right here. So I can just do the test. And I told him, I said, I need to wait. He said, which time? I said 2. So he said, then you will wait. So we waited with him, I was sitting with him, all of that.
Excellent. But I want to know, Ruth, your feelings. Tell me exactly how you felt when you sat before the computer, before you could put in your code and everything to get to the test. How you felt?
I was scared, honestly, because everybody was saying CSA test is a big test, it's a big test, you cannot pass the test. So I was scared at first, but I built up the confidence and I said, but if I don't know what is coming, let me just do what I know. And so when I put in my information and I went through the questions were clear, it wasn't hard.
Terrible. Aptitude.
Yeah, I understood. It was just challenging and playing with your mind.
Yeah.
Yes, so when I went through the test and I saw my results, I was already up to now.
And instantly your result went to your email.
Yes, results are way right after you finish with the test.
Yeah, you got it.
So fair.
Is this one?
It's fair.
Okay. And how about you? What do you think? Is it fair? Or?
It is. What
And did you have problem with the internet? Go through it.
Yes.
May I understand something? The test administrators, talk about them. Were they nice to you? Were they kind? Just you?
So kind.
Yes.
And any question we have that we didn't understand, we asked them. They will show us the way. They were so nice. The place was so big.
Because me, I was like, I came to educational test. Why am I seeing something about medical? Why am I seeing a little bit of math? What am I seeing? You see here and stand out like, you know? So yes, you know.
Okay, so it's okay. So, Mr. Minister, thank you for that opportunity. The reason why we screen the video is part of our confidence building process, because there is this entrenched belief, notion, that the test is only meant for certain people. The test is hoping is meant for everybody. It's something that you can pass. You listen to the two ladies, their experience. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Civil Service Agency, under our leadership, has undertaken bold and necessary reforms aimed at building a robust, responsive, and competent civil service, one that works for the people and earns their trust. These reforms are not cosmetic. They are systemic. They are intentional and grounded in law and policy. And most importantly, they are focused on improving how our government delivers for its people. So today specifically, we will focus our attention on the National Civil Service Testing Center and the rollout of the mandatory civil service examination. The establishment of the National Civil Service Testing Center marked a transformative shift in Liberia's public sector recruitment process, the transitioning from a traditional paper-based system to a modern computerized and merit-based process. The testing center was officially launched by the Honorable Vice President Jeremiah on October 31st, 2024. He described the initiative as a milestone towards professionalizing the civil service and restoring public confidence in government hiring practices. The center introduces an automated testing environment that assesses job applicants based on merit, skill, and aptitude, thereby setting a new national standard for public sector recruitment. The initiative also aligns with President Joseph Yuma Boakai's arrest agenda, which emphasizes reform, efficiency, and good governance. You just saw the testimonials of the two ladies. As part of the rollout of the testing center, the CSA conducted mock exams
to familiarize applicants with the system ahead of the official testing phase, which took place from May 5 to June 20, 2025. A total of 158 candidates registered both online and in person at the CSA's office and sat the trial test. Of that number, 129 were males and 29 were females. The results of the trial test did not count because it was intended only to test the efficiency and readiness of the testing system. At the end of that trial test process, we can now assure you that the testing system is efficient and ready to be used nationally for our recruitment processes in the civil service. Since then, the national testing process commenced on June 23, 2025. And to date, as of July 24, 2025, a total of 82 candidates have registered and taken the exams. Of this number, 60 are males and 22 are females. The CSA remains committed to strengthening the center and positioning it as a cornerstone for building a competent, transparent, and service-oriented civil service in our beloved nation. In line with Chapter 3, Section 3.2.1 of the Standing Orders for the Civil Service, all appointments to civil service within the government of Liberia must be merit-based and guided by competitive assessments. The Civil Service Agency has therefore identified 83 testable positions across ministries, agencies, and commissions, MACs, for which candidates must successfully sit and pass to be considered for employment within our civil service. The policy is part of a broader effort to professionalize the civil service and to ensure that only qualified, competent individuals are recruited to deliver public services efficiently. More details about the testable positions can be found on the testing page on the CSA website. However, Section 3.2.5 of the Standing Orders for the Civil Service gives the Director General of the Civil Service the discretion to exempt select categories of individuals from sitting the exam. The first includes professionals certified by recognized national and international bodies, such as medical doctors, nurses, midwives, chartered accountants, auditors, engineers, certified project management professionals. The second category comprises those in general support roles that are non-testable, such as drivers, dispatchers, gardeners, cooks, janitors, and pages. These exemptions are clearly defined to preserve technical integrity while focusing assessment efforts on core administrative and technical roles critical to government performance. Therefore, individuals in these professional, certified, and general support roles are hereby exempted from sitting the civil service examinations. I will be remiss if I do not extend my profound gratitude to His Excellency Joseph Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia, for the generous support provided for setting up and operationalizing the Civil Service Center. Recently, His Excellency provided a Starlink Enterprise package for the provision of reliable and uninterrupted internet connectivity to the center. This intervention by His Excellency will improve the operational efficiency of the center, provide candidates with the best possible testing experience. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Minister, distinguished colleagues, members of the press, at this juncture, the CSA is making a major announcement about the policy decision that has been made. Effective Monday, July 28, 2025, the Civil Service Agency will only process personnel action notices submitted by ministries, agencies, and commissions when only accompanied by a valid certificate of successful completion of the civil service examination, which is being administered at the National Civil Service Testing Center. I'd like to repeat that. Effective Monday, July 28, 2025, the Civil Service Agency will only process personnel action notices submitted by ministries, agencies, and commissions only when accompanied by a valid certificate of successful completion of the civil service examination, which is being administered at the National Civil Service Testing Center. This directive is in strict adherence to Chapter 3, Section 3.2.1 of the Standing Orders for the Civil Service, which states, in our court, all appointments to the classified civil service of the Republic of Liberia shall be channeled through the Civil Service Agency. There shall be no exceptions. The agency shall conduct all recruitment examinations and certification for employment in classified positions. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Civil Service Agency leadership is fully committed to enforcing this provision in both letter and spirit to ensure a transparent, merit-based, and competent public workforce at the 105 government spending entities. Accordingly, all human resource directors are instructed to treat this mandate with utmost seriousness. A circular memorandum to this effect has been issued by the Civil Service Agency, and non-compliance will be viewed as an administrative violation and dealt with accordingly. Personnel action notices submitted before July 28, 2025 will be processed on their individual merits. However, no exceptions will be made for any submissions thereafter without proof of successful pass in the examination as required by law. The CSA remains open and committed to working closely with all institutions to assess workforce needs, recommend appropriate staffing structures, and ensure that all future personnel decisions align with national employment policies and law. The Civil Service Agency recognizes that while government employment plays a critical role in national development, it is neither sustainable nor economically prudent for the government of Liberia to remain the primary employer. A thriving economy depends on a vibrant private sector that can absorb a significant portion of the loss, drive innovation, and stimulate inclusive economic growth. The current over-reliance on public sector jobs places an unsustainable burden on a national wage bill, stifles efficiency, and limits fiscal space for critical development investments. Therefore, we call on private sector actors, investors, development partners, and key employment stakeholders to aggressively champion job creation initiatives, particularly for Liberia's growing youth population. The CSA stands ready to collaborate with the Ministry of Labor, the Liberia Business Association, the Chamber of Commerce, and other relevant bodies to facilitate policy alignment, workforce readiness, and public-private partnerships that unlock meaningful employment. A resilient Liberia actually begins with a strong private sector. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the Civil Service Agency remains unwavering in its commitment to strengthening workforce efficiency, enforcing merit-based recruitment, and cleansing the government's payroll of ghost names through initiatives that align with our employment status regularization program. We want to extend our deepest appreciation once more to Minister Pierre and his team for not only accommodating us, but for working with us collaboratively in the delivery of our services to the Liberian people. Congratulations to all of us, to Liberia, as we commemorate our 178th independence anniversary. Thank you.
So before our last speaker comes up, the Deputy Minister of Education, there's one major information that skipped my mind during the presentation. Beginning September, the road that leads straight to the waterside, the construction of that road into a full lane all the way to the border will commence this September. What that means, with the contract that the Japanese will be handling, that will pave the road from Johnson Street to Freeport, with the work that is currently ongoing, which is earmarked for up to Clay for full lane, the rest of the road picking up from that place straight to Bow Waterside, that crosses into Sheridan, will be a brand new full lane road. The construction will take a couple of years, but it will start as of September. One of the things that the President also said when we were in Salaye, and some of the citizens of Lofa said, don't keep Wologisi. If Wologisi will give a hospital, it will give a roads. The President did say, and I want to re-echo, that they've sought funding and that the people of Lofa should not worry about that road. And he went further to say the construction of the road will now be tackled from two fronts. The construction will start from Melikoma coming forward, while it continues for Salaye where the quota currently start going forward. So eventually, they will be coming from both directions until they link up, and then that whole stretch of road leading from Banga to Melikoma will be a paved road. Again, a clear demonstration of the government's intention to revolutionize development, connect our country in a very practical way, make the movement of people, goods, and services common and simple, thereby affecting the standard of living as well. I don't know how anybody else could call it. Some people could say is enough is enough. Some people could choose their own name. I would say it's clearly a development of Vuvuzela. Mr. Minister.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel To. I am Deputy Minister of Education for Planning, Research, and Development. A very good afternoon to members of the press, distinguished guests, fellow Liberians. I'm pleased to address you today and just to provide you some updates on the ongoing process of our annual school census. This census is a process that includes a meticulous series of data collection of school statistics, which is a cornerstone initiative of the Ministry of Education aimed at strengthening the education sector through robust evidence-based planning. But before I do that, let me first extend special thanks to our Pia, Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism, and your deputies. I want to extend special greetings to the DG of for his able leadership there at a central and pivotal organ of government. I also extend my thanks to the press for honoring this invitation today. Special thanks also to His Excellency President Joseph Joekai for his confidence in us, but also to the leadership of Dr. Josiah, the Minister of Education. Many of you remember that we were in this very room last November, right here in the Charles Boyon Conference Hall, where we formally launched the Ministry of Education annual school census data collection process across all of the 15 political subdivisions of this country and across 16 educational counties. At the Ministry of Education, we have split up Montserrado into 2 separate educational counties. Despite our enthusiasm at the time, the rollout did encounter some significant challenges, and I can point out specifically the unexpected withdrawal of support from one of our key partners, the USAID. However, over the past 7 months, the Ministry of Education and our partners have worked diligently to recalibrate our efforts, to re-strategize, to retool, enhance the systems that we're working with, and mobilize additional resources for that critical activity. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the 2025 annual school census has officially commenced in earnest, and as we speak, it is in full swing. Some 200 education data collectors have already been deployed across the country, and they include district education officers who are being supervised by the county education officers. They include members, technical staff from the Ministry of Education who are actively engaged with principals and administrators across the country. They are working closely with these administrators across 125 educational districts to gather timely and accurate school statistics. You might be wondering, why is this important? Under normal circumstances, this will be a routine activity of the Ministry of Education. But this is important because it has been more than 3 years since we have not collected school statistics in this country. So essentially, we are not precise and we don't fully understand the details of the health of our sector, and therefore it is important that we update our data with reliable evidence and we plug this critical data gap. This census will close that critical data gap that we have in the education sector. It will provide us with a clear snapshot of the sector's health and its performance. It will help guide equitable distribution of resources and services within the sector. It will identify urgent educational needs, where to place schools, in which counties we need STEM instructors, and so forth. It will help us understand the cost of education, how much can we propose for our 2026 budget. The data will help inform those numbers, and it will enable us drive the policy reform that we are so enthusiastically working towards. Let me say that this process is not optional. It is not one of those processes where schools can say, okay, we'll report this year and we do not report next year. It is a legal requirement. In Chapter 8 of the Education Reform Act of 2011, it mandates that all educational institutions, especially those who operate under the Ministry of Education, and to a certain extent when it comes to TVET, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, are mandated to report what we call statutory records. These records will include information on student enrollment, attendance, graduation, academic performance, suspension, dropout rates, school fees, and by law we are actually required to report incidences of gender-based violence as well. Failure to comply would sometimes elicit administrative consequences, and we would not, for example, like to withhold schools' operational permits or their sector permits because of non-compliance. So we will encourage our partners and school administrators to comply. To ensure successful execution of this year's census, the ministry has implemented some of the key critical activities. So for example, between the 17th of April and the 2nd of May, we conducted what we call coaching and mentoring exercises that was targeted at principals and registrars to educate them about the statutory record-keeping system and to also school them in a specialized data collection tool that the ministry had developed. Between June 23rd and the 27th, we also conducted training of trainers specifically for county educational officers to also school them in the process, but also familiarize them with the mechanisms of data collection, including the digital tools and the hard copy tools that were developed. Between July 1st and the 3rd, we again carry on another round of training that at the levels of the counties and the districts that involve DOs and M&E officers, as well as some email staff. As we speak, beginning the July 16th to August 8th, I repeat because this date is important, July 16th to August 8th, our data collectors, who include the DOs and email staff, are around the country reporting school data. That process began in earnest on the 16th, and it will continue until August 8th. Between August 8th and the 31st, we hope to clean the data, we hope to do some checks, we hope to do analysis, and eventually we hope to release a report by the 31st of August. I know you might say that that is a critical deadline, but indeed it is critical because this report is contingent or is tied to a number of critical milestones that we have agreed with our partners. What we have done, and I've mentioned some of these, we have deployed digital tablets to over 200 field data collectors. We have a centralized online server. So as the data comes from the field, it's real time, we get it on our online server and we can display those data on the dashboard. We have computer systems, of course. Before USAID ESASH started up, we were able to have received a significant consignment of digital equipment, tablets, laptops, and we're utilizing these in our work. At this point, I would be remiss if I did not express gratitude to the EU and UNICEF, to the World Bank, GPE, UNESCO, Save the Children, the Ministry of Youth and Sports. For the first time, we have a special partnership with Youth and Sports to collect TVET data on technical and vocational training and skills development. I say a big thank you also to the Center for Integrated Solutions, a local firm that is supporting our efforts at EMIS. There are quite a lot of local NGOs supporting us as well. We do have a technical working group on data and evidence that is guiding this process. We have come this far not without challenges. Of course, I mentioned the abrupt disruption we suffered as a result of the withdrawal of USAID, one of our biggest funders. There have been funding delays since last November when we launched. We have had some delay with disbursements within our own systems, but we are overcoming those challenges. The data gap is significant, so we need sufficient time to do that, and we continue to work with our partners to make progress. I would like to give you a few statistics as to where we are in the data collection process, which has been only 6 days, and I will end shortly after these. We are currently on day 6 as of yesterday of field work. out of an estimated 6,579 schools nationwide, both public, faith-based, private, public schools, private schools, faith-based, and community schools. 30% of our data have already come in. The strongest reporting, we are experiencing our strongest reporting from Grand GDER, Grand Crew, both of which have 52% of all of their school data have been sent to us. Bombing County, 51%, River G, 44%, Bapolu and Maryland at 43% each. The lower reporting rates we have actually from Montserrat 1 and 2, which are reporting 23% and 19% respectively. Grand Cape Mount is reporting only 18% of the total schools within all of their districts. Riverses is only reporting 22%. We anticipate that this reporting rate will improve significantly as the data collection process is routinized. Data collectors are used to the tablets, they familiarize themselves with the process, and they can, in a better way, geolocate all of the schools, because moving in between schools have been one of the challenges. These numbers include an estimated 200 TVET institutions. I did mention that our partnership with UNICEF and the Ministry of Youth and Sports includes the collection of accurate and timely TVET data. So for the first time, we are partnering together in a central data collection process and database for that purpose. And I want to say, because of some of the challenges we have in the reporting of TVET data, we have actually organized a special session, a special workshop tomorrow, the 25th of July at the G.W. Gibson High School at 9 p.m. And we invite all TVET administrators across Montserrat to attend. This is a mandatory training, by the way, and I will encourage everyone to attend and receive instructions thereof. To school administrators, to the principals and registrars, especially in private and faith-based schools, we have been getting reports that there have been incidences of non-compliance and lack of cooperation. We want to remind you that this is a legal requirement statutorily. There could be administrative consequences in terms of your operational permits, as well as your clearances to run an institution of higher of education if you do not report on your school data. We've had access to these forms for more than 2 months now, and there is actually no excuse for why any school or any principal cannot report. To our CEOs, DEOs, and planning and EMS officers who are involved in the data collection and our partners, we salute you for your dedication to hard work. We also remind you that the ministry is transitioning towards a school-based data collection. What that means is, going forward, we intend the schools to collect data, we intend the schools to report data. So instead of having to annually deploy data collection around 15 counters or 16 educational counters, the schools themselves will compile their school records and simply submit through a digital system. I want to thank the EMS division at the Ministry of Education, particularly Mr. Emmanuel Dolkelin, who has been extremely diligent in his leadership of the division. I want to thank the Ministry of Education staff. I want to thank especially Minister Jala for the dynamic leadership that she has brought to this process. Our partners have been helpful. The former ESA, USAID, of course, the World Bank, EU, UNICEF, UNESCO, Save the Children, and many local partners. We must thank the government of Liberia. I know sometimes it's easy to overlook our own. The MFDP has been extremely helpful in supporting this process. Sometimes we don't realize the investment our government is putting, but once we begin to calculate these new projects, many of them are loans, the waivers that Ministry of Education gave schools for the importation and everything, plus the cost of personnel, you realize that these investments are actually substantial. In closing, the census is much more than the activities that we're talking about. It's not only a data collection process, it is also a process that will lay a much more solid foundation for the investments that are necessary for the sector. Let us work together, principals, school administrators, but also policymakers, to ensure that we succeed at this task and we can contribute meaningfully to the future of our beloved country. I mean, a country that is 178 years is not a small country. We want to also give special thanks to the founding fathers, but also all of the generations before us, our current leadership, for being resilient, and to the Liberian people. And I wish you a very happy 26. Thank you.